Hello and welcome back everyone to the next episode on SAP Fiori Advanced Training with me Anubhav. In our last session, we talked about the introduction of SAP product portfolio, how SAP evolved from 1972 to 2015 and now the state, the different solutions, what they offer, and as with the solutions, how the SAP UI technology evolved from SAP GUI to WebDynPro to BSP to Web GUI and finally the SAP Fiori. We have talked about the SAP Fiori in general. What is SAP Fiori? Why it is used? It's basically provide a user experience to the users. They are more than just the apps built using UI5. More than that, you also get a package deal including themes, launchpad, designer. You have a lot of tools, roles, tasks, content, guidelines, best practices. All of it together makes the Fiori portfolio. So then we discussed about a on-premise versus cloud system. We saw that how a company implements software, what are all the different things which require to implement a software and how it is different in the on-premise world versus cloud world. In the cloud world, everything is managed by vendor. There are three types of cloud vendors: infrastructure as a service, who majorly focus only on the bottommost stack, which includes hardware, OS, and virtualization. Then we have vendors who offers platform as a service. Platform as a service where they offer you tools and services to build application for your company. Then there they offer different services like databases, different runtimes, tools, different mechanisms, CI/CD pipeline and stuff like that. Then we have finally the application, which is built using the open cloud, and then it's hosted on the internet. And these are application as a service. So if you go ahead and buy SAP S4HANA, it's available both flavors, on-premise flavor or the cloud flavor, where you can choose any of the option. Today, as of now, 80% of SAP customers are going on S4HANA on-premise. Reason means its flexibility. So companies can modify, tweak the solution, customize it to very heavily an on-premise solution. But a cloud solution cannot be customized so heavily that way. So we discussed about the basics of S4HANA. So now let's go deeper and understand a little bit more on S4HANA and also SAP Cloud Platform, which is now known as SAP Business Technology Platform. And then we will look at the life cycle of a Fiori application, whether it is a standard or it's a custom Fiori app, how the life cycle works. So now let's understand the full form of S4HANA more details in context of how it is different from its past successors, predecessors, and how exactly what benefits does it give. So S4HANA, as we know, S stands for simplification and 4 stands for fourth generation ERP. This is latest generation of ERP, and HANA means high performance analytic appliance. It's a in-memory database by SAP. So most of the databases you might have heard or worked, they will keep data in hard disk. But HANA is a system which keeps data into RAM. Of course, there are good power backup solutions backed by the HANA system to keep the data in the RAM stable without any crashing. So this is what SAP HANA is all about. And SAP HANA is the primary database for all the for entire S4 HANA solution, which means you cannot implement the S4 HANA without HANA database. So S4 HANA, the only supported database is HANA DB. Okay. That is why when you go to your SAP S4HANA system, you will see that, let me show you how can you check. So if I go to my SAP S4HANA system, you will see in this system, if I go to system, status, you will find here in the more details, this option to check the database. Okay. So this option is system status, and here you can see HANA DB. Database is HANA DB. That is how we can get to know what database the system is using. And how do you check if it's S4 HANA? So you go to system status, go to details, and if you find S4 core component in your company system, you are already using a S4 HANA system. So that is how we can check if a system is S4 HANA or not, or a system is running on HANA DB or not. So that is very important, because many times some features which I'll demo in this course may not work in your company system, because you guys are on low version of S4 HANA perhaps. Yeah. So now let's move on and let's type about SAP S4 HANA is SAP's latest ERP solution. It's a product actually. S4 HANA is the successor of SAP ECC or Business Suite. So in the past, the solution was named as Business Suite. The maintenance of Business Suite will live up to 2029, which means up to 2029, SAP will maintain the Business Suite, and after that, they will stop maintenance of the Business Suite, which means eventually, if your company is not on S4 HANA today, your company will move to S4 HANA for sure by 2029. That is the current plan. Now, what is simplified means? What was simplified? When we say simplified suite, it is simplified. What was simplified? So first simplification was data model. So you all know in SAP ERP we have a lot of predefined database tables like Mara, Marcy, VBAC, VBAP, EKKO, EKPO, BKPF. A lot of database tables are there related to different areas like finance, SD, MM, different solutions. So all the database tables, or majority of the database tables, which makes your data model, have been changed. Many tables have been removed. Yes, example like pooled cluster tables, lot of data dictionary types, structures, table types have been undergone through changes. Yes, this is the first simplification which happened in context of data model. Then comes his UI simplification. UI simplification means now the default user experience is SAP Fiori, which means it is recommended for all the customers and their users using ERP system to adopt Fiori as their preferred user interface and user experience. Now, when SAP started SAP S4 HANA, the first one was 1511, which was 2015. In month of November, they released with 300 standard Fiori apps. What do you mean by standard? Standard means the apps which you get from SAP. Now, if you purchase a new cell phone, new smartphone today, let's say Samsung smartphones, yeah, if you buy that, then you will see when you start the phone, you get some default apps, right? You get Samsung Galaxy App Store, you get, let's say, phone call, calculator, contacts, messaging service, right? A lot of these apps are pre-installed in your mobile phone, right? These are standard apps which comes out of the box. We sometimes also call them out of the box. This term is very heavily used in SAP world. Out of the box. Out of the box means it's coming automatically along with the solution. So buy a mobile phone, in that those apps you don't need to install. They come along with the mobile phone. Then on top of it, you can install your own apps, right? You can add your custom apps of your choice. So SAP deliver with S4 HANA 1511, the first version, 300 standard Fiori apps. In now, by SAP 2020, S4HANA, SAP S4HANA 2020. They have more than 2102 apps, 2100 Fiori apps I'm talking about. Fiori, pure Fiori apps built using UI5 technology. That's not the total count of apps. There are total count of app is definitely more than that. But as of now, if you see, there are total 2102 apps as of S4 HANA 2020 version. In future, SAP will increase these number. So in future, SAP will get you lot of free more apps which comes along with package. Now, where can I go and check these list of apps? So that brings me to the next very important topic, Fiori App Reference Library. Without Fiori App Reference Library topic, learning Fiori is a waste. Yeah, nobody can learn Fiori implementation or installation, Fiori security without understanding Fiori App Reference Library. What is Fiori App Reference Library? Fiori App Reference Library, it's as the name suggests, it's a library which tells us all the list of applications, Fiori applications installed or available, and also non-Fiori apps offered by SAP as standard. So whatever SAP is developing, they are offering you apps, Fiori and non-Fiori apps, applications, which are part of their solutions. And you can find the list of all of them in the Fiori app reference library. So remember, not just Fiori apps, but non-Fiori apps also, it will list out for you. Okay. Now these apps are grouped under solutions, and we can search them particular app or apps based on different criteria. Criteria like by role, by user functionality, user function, by name and description, by ID of the app, by functional area. Functional area like finance, sales, marketing, procurement. Yes, different functional area. We can search them by user role. We have already discussed by user function, line of business. Yeah, these are all the different criterias. We can go ahead and actually search this Fiori app. You'll see it in a minute. By product, of course, are you searching the app for S4 HANA or S4 HANA on-premise or S4 HANA cloud or business suite? What are you searching it based on? You can search it based on different criterias. That's basically called Fiori App Reference Library. Now let me show you where can we see this. SAP Fiori App Reference Library. If you Google, you will find the very first link. Click on that, and now it launch the Fiori App Reference Library. I'm putting the link in the slide for your reference, so you guys can check that later. So now you see all apps, all S4 HANA apps, all S4 HANA Fiori apps, all the Fiori apps for business suite, the classical solution. Then there are Fiori Lighthouse apps and available via SAP Fiori Cloud. So these are all the broad categories based on which you can check. Now let's go to all Fiori apps of S4 HANA, because our goal is learning S4 HANA security and Fiori security, which is latest. I go inside, and now you can see all apps based on line of business, industry, role, component, backend product, product version, best practice. So you can see here we have different search mechanisms through which you can look into the apps. Okay, now I go to all apps, and this is where I will find now all the list of apps which are there in S4 HANA, which are uh, Fiori plus non-Fiori in SAP S4 HANA. Okay, S4 HANA. So there are total 11,628 apps. So total count is, total apps are 11,628. Now if I go back, I'll say give me Fiori apps now. So I'll check all Fiori apps now, and you can see Fiori apps are 2107. That's a very less number. It's surprising. Yes, isn't it? Isn't it surprising that how much percentage it is now? So it is how much percent? 210700 divided by 11628. It's just 18%. Out of all the apps which SAP have in S4HANA, just 18% of those apps are Fiori apps. Then question comes, what are all these remaining 82% apps? Can anyone guess what type of apps they are then? We are going to use them in the browser. Yes, very good answer. Attendee 3 have answered. If you look back the last class, they are either WebDyn Pro, BSP or WebGUI. Exactly. So still 82% of SAP S4HANA apps are classical apps based on GUI, WebDyn Pro, BSP. Okay. Yes, exactly. So SAP is really big, I told you how big SAP is yesterday. So still SAP have not migrated all their apps to Fiori apps yet. Yes, they are visually harmonized to make it look like Fiori. But slowly, slowly SAP is in the direction to transform their all apps to Fiori apps. Some places they are doing it, some places they are not doing it yet. Okay, that is what is happening. Now same applies to SAP customers also. SAP customers, when they have their existing applications, you can publish them on Launchpad. We will also learn that in this course, how to publish your classical apps or web GUI apps as a SAP Fiori visually harmonized app on the Launchpad. This is part of our course. So you can clearly see SAP is still far away to achieve 100% Fiori apps. So they still delivered majority of the classical apps as the visually harmonized app on the S4 HANA. Yeah, many people think S4HANA is pure Fiori. No, 82% is still the classical GUI or classical WebDyn Pro and all. So, but default user experience is Fiori. From SAP S4HANA 2020, we have about 18% apps which are Fiori apps. So that's the second important thing about S4HANA. Third is the implementation is based on best practice. So guys, in the past, a lot of customer complained SAP that SAP implementation is very hard. It's very difficult to implement SAP in our company. Yes. So SAP, you need to hire a lot of expert to implement SAP. Okay. It was very difficult. SAP listened the customer feedback. They went into market and they survey the market, and there they found out how many different customers are there and how are they consuming SAP applications. And by analyzing the usage pattern, analyzing their behaviors, SAP came up with best practice. They say, if you implement my solution this way, if this is the way you implement it, then you will get faster implementation and it will take less time for you to implement SAP. So the entire implementation is also based on best practice. Where can we see these best practices? So to see them, you have to go to a website called rapid.sap.com, and here you will be able to see the best practices which are provided by SAP in terms of implementation. So this is called SAP Best Practice Explorer, where you can go and check. Let me just log in with my S user ID so that I can show the best practice documents. So anyone can go and read as long as you have a S user ID in SAP system. So you can see here the best practice documents. So SAP Best Practice Explorer. So entire S4 implementation is based on that. Now these best practice explorer items are called scope items. So scope item refers to one business process like order to cash, procure to pay, hire to retire. So they will talk about entire end-to-end business process which is spread across multiple Fiori applications to achieve one business process. So entire implementation is based on best practice. So that is what you can see on rapid.sap.com. Okay, the best practice. Now coming to the options. So S4 HANA is available, as we saw already, in two flavors. First is S4 HANA Cloud and S4 HANA on-premise. Which one is most popular in industry as of now? Which version or which flavor of S4 HANA most of the customers are implementing in their companies? On-premise. 80% of customers are implementing on-premise, wherein they will buy everything. Now, if they are buying everything and setting up everything, definitely they need also consultants. They need people. They need people to manage this everything, right? They need people on job, and that's where they need IT engineers like us to go and utilize their system to implement it in their company and use it and make it usable for their users. And that is why this training, because as a basis consultant or as a SAP consultant, you will go and you will learn some of the implementation techniques in this training, how to implement, install, set up, configure SAP system to give access to the business users. No coding is required for the first half of this training. Anyone can learn. Even a college student can also learn how to implement SAP Fiori apps in S4 HANA. Yeah, that is what you will see. So SAP on-premise system is the system where company would need everything by themselves. Now the major technical difference, how it is technically different S4HANA on-premise and S4HANA cloud. So one quick difference you will see is in S4HANA on-premise, we get SAP GUI access. But in S4HANA cloud, we will not have SAP GUI access. It's using pure browser. In S4HANA on-premise system, infrastructure, cost, and maintenance is borne by customer only. But here it is borne by initial investment done already by SAP. SAP is your vendor, and we just subscribe for apps. So more you need, more you need to pay. Now here, this is a shared environment. It's a public cloud, but not heavily customizable. You can't customize it heavily the way you can do it the on-premise system. So here you can do high customizing and changes to your solution to adapt according to our need, and that we do using SPRO. SPRO is the transaction code in SAP world to check the customizing, right? So this is where we can go to SPRO and we can all the customization we can do. But in S4 HANA cloud, you will never get SPRO or SAP GUI access. S4HANA Cloud is faster innovation. S4HANA on-premise, it's not force upgrade. So you can anytime upgrade or update your system depending on your choice. However, if you look at the code base, both have same applications with minor delta. Very few apps which you will see, they are more in cloud, but they're not in own premise. Yeah, but more or less about 80 to 90% apps are ditto same, no change. In fact, they use the same code base to send you these apps. So if you go back to again Fiori app reference library, and let me check a random app, sales order app, let's say very famous app, sales order app. So if you look at a manage sales order app or track sales order app, suppose I ordered something on Amazon and I want to track where is my sales order. So you can click on the app and now you see it's available in both S4 HANA and S4 HANA Cloud. So S4 HANA OP is equal to S4 HANA. Yeah. So that is how you can check if this app is available in the cloud and OP. There are some apps which are not in OP, but they are in the cloud. Let me show you one app name. So it's like manage projects. So there is this customer project app actually, which is actually not in OP. You see, it's not displaying that app here. Huh? Yes, it is not displaying. It will be only available in S4HANA cloud. So if I go to, okay, I think I go to all apps for S4HANA and I search for manage customer project. Here it is, project. No guys. What's that app name? These are all the different apps you have. So there are some apps which you will see which is not going to be part of your on-premise solution, but they will have it in the S4HANA cloud. Yeah, there are some apps, maybe as and when we progress, maybe we'll see in the future. Some apps will be there which you will find into the cloud, but not in OP. But however, our goal is to learn on-premise. 80% to 90% of the scope is same in cloud and on-premise. Okay, now this is about the S4 HANA system. But what if I am a SAP user, I am a company which is using SAP since long time, and I got a lot of apps, but none of these apps fits to my need. Yeah, none of these fits to my need. I may have to build my own app. Like, lot of companies are there, guys, they implement SAP, but they don't use SAP apps because SAP apps are not fit to their need. So in that case, what they do, they build their own apps. They hire developers or they hire people from colleges, they train them, and then they let them develop Fiori apps for themselves, for their custom needs. Okay, so you can see already there are a lot of companies who offer applications, but still there are a lot of new startups offering a lot of new apps. Why? Because not one thing can cater to all the needs. So even companies, when they implement SAP, they may find a lot of gaps, and they may see that a standard SAP app doesn't fit to their need. In that case, what they do, they implement their own apps. Now there are two ways by which they can implement the new apps. How? So, and basically it depends on where they want to keep their apps. So when a custom app is built, this is called custom app. Custom app means a app which is not delivered by SAP, but it was developed in house. I am a customer of SAP and I develop it. So usually these are called custom apps. So a custom app is basically a app which is built by SAP customer or SAP partner, which is outside SAP, catering to the custom needs. That's a custom app. Now there are two ways you can make this app accessed for the end user. So there are two ways. So there are multiple ways to build this app. First of all, I'll cover the types of Fiori app later. But first, let's look at how ultimately, eventually, they become available for the end user. So there are two ways these apps will be delivered to end users. Now, one question to all of you. If there is a custom app in my company, so Anubhav Training is also a company. We have an Fiori app which we use to manage students. Yeah. So do you think we can find the information about this custom app like student portal or manage student application? Do you think we can find that on SAP Fiori app reference library here? Can you find my custom app?
No,
No, no. Why? Why no? Because those apps are
because it is a
custom.
custom app.
Yes, it's custom. It's custom to my requirement, my company, within my company. It's a in-house. So you will not find them. Even a lot of apps will be there in your company which are built by your local development team. So there will be a lot of developers, Fiori developers, programmers. Usually ABAP developers will turn into a Fiori developer very oftenly. This is what a trend usually you see. People who are developing in the past SAP apps using dialog programs and all, SAP GUI based apps, they turn into a Fiori developer. Yeah, that is what happens, and then they develop the apps for your company according to, you can't find them on a Fiori app reference library, because Fiori app reference library only shows the apps which is coming from SAP along with the solution out of the box apps. Okay, so that is why you will not see these apps as part of app reference library. So there are two ways with which these custom apps can be built. The first way is we build and keep them in our on-premise system itself. Okay, this is basically basically I'm saying I'm going to deploy to SAP S4 HANA server only, where your custom app is, where your standard apps are. So you have a lot of standard apps delivered by SAP, and along with those standard apps you will also put your custom app next to them. So let's say if these are standard apps which is directly given by SAP, SAP own these apps, which means if there is a problem, there is an error, there is a bug, there is an issue, SAP will fix it. SAP is the owner of these apps. Who's the owner? SAP is the owner. But if a app doesn't fit my need, then I build my custom apps. Yes. So here my company itself is the owner. We are the owner of these apps. These are custom apps. Now these apps are sitting next to the standard SAP apps within the same system. So eventually what is happening is the same system where these apps are sitting. It's the same box, same system where these apps are. Okay, so that is what you will see. Let me just make it more transparent. Yeah, so they sit in the same system, same S4 HANA system. You deploy them. This is option 1. Option 2, some company says that these custom apps, so guys, S4 HANA system basically protected by intranet. It's a system which runs only in your company network. No one else can access this system outside. So many of you, when you go to your company, you can access these apps within your company only. Means you need to connect to a secure network of your company using virtual private network, VPN. So you'll get a VPN access. Through the VPN only you can access them. You can't access them outside your company. If you're running your personal laptop, you can't access them, okay, with your personal laptop. You can only access with your private company network. But so which means these apps are used in-house. But imagine I am a big company and I wanted to also develop an app which I want to give access to my users on the internet. Okay, so what if I need a custom app for which I need to give external access, which means anybody who is even outside my company network will still be able to access that app. So what is the right place where we keep this app? Where do we deploy this app? And that's where the concept of cloud comes into picture. So I would like to take you back to the yesterday's class where I told you that we can also keep a application in the cloud on the internet. What do you need to run application in the cloud? Anybody wants to tell? What two things are required to run an application, build an application in the cloud? No one? It's written in front of you. What two things are required to run an application in the cloud?
Browser, web ID, application as a service, platform as a service.
Yes. So I can see Nishan and Joseph. Two people have answered absolutely correct answer. You need these two: infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. On top of it, you can have your application. So if a company needs a custom app to be developed and share with the whole world, they would need a infrastructure as a service which is provided by AWS or Azure or Microsoft Azure or AWS or maybe GCP, Google Cloud. These are the companies which will provide. So you can rent a computer on the internet today. Yeah. So let me show you. If it's very interesting. So if I go to aws.amazon.com, I can go and I can purchase a computer. I can say, hey, I want a computer with this much RAM, this much CPU, this much power. Yes, this processor, this size of RAM, this size of power I would need. Yeah, that is what we can do when it comes to AWS. So AWS is a infrastructure provider. It's a infrastructure provider which is responsible for offering us a computer on the internet. There are a lot of companies. AWS is not the only one, but it's very popular. So you can purchase a computer. You can take a computer from the AWS on the internet. You can rent it out. Okay. And they will give you, and these are called EC2 instances. What they are called? They're called EC2 instances. You can take that. So you can see here, for different purpose, for building games. You can build games, you can build healthcare, life science projects, telecom projects, media projects, manufacturing softwares, different softwares, hotel hospitalities and hotels. You can choose variety of services here to build applications on this infrastructure. But let's say you got a 10,000 RAM, 20,000 gigabytes of hard disk, right? It is very difficult that you may end up, if you don't have depth knowledge of AWS, you may end up wasting your computing power. Truly, maybe you don't even need that computing power to run your app, right? Sometimes you miscalculated that, do I really need that much memory? Yeah, it will cost you a lot. It will cost you unnecessarily a lot. So that's where another service is offered by companies called platform as a service, where what you do is you don't actually care about underlying infrastructure. You don't talk to infrastructure. This platform is what you talk to as a developer. So you as a developer never talk to AWS directly. You as a developer talk to platform, and you will talk to this platform and tell this platform, hey platform, I would want to run a Node.js application or a Fiori application, and my user size is 50. I wanted to develop it for 50 users, and the traffic will be like 5 user per second, or 5 hits per second will be the traffic on my app. This platform will automatically provision the infrastructure. It will allocate the memory automatically for you. So you never have to manage hardware yourself. The platform will manage it. And plus, so it will manage hardware majorly for you, plus also the app management. It will also manage the app for you. App management means what? Entire life cycle of an application, whether it is design, development, deployment, maintenance, all of it will manage. Not that all, it will also give you the tools and services to build app faster. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, this is called platform as a service. One such platform as a service is provided by SAP, which we call SAP Cloud Platform. So SAP Cloud Platform is a platform as a service provided by SAP, which is helpful for you as a development team or developers or companies if they want to build a cloud solution. You can go and buy subscription for cloud platform, and they will then give you the infrastructure. On top you can build your apps, and these apps, when you build them, they are accessible directly over the internet. It doesn't mean they are unsecure. SAP cloud platform give you services to also secure your application. We call it as access UAA component. Yeah, the new name of SAP Cloud Platform is SAP BTP. They call it as Business Technology Platform. This is the new name of SAP Cloud Platform. We call it as Business. Technology Platform, SAP BTP. This is the new name of SAP Cloud Platform, guys. We call it as Business Technology Platform or SAP BTP. That is the new name. So I hope everybody is clear what is SAP BTP. This is the second way of developing and building this app. Now, what SAP did to implement this BTP? To implement BTP, they went into the world and they checked which company is giving you some specification to implement this platform. So basically, SAP wanted to design a platform which is easy to use. They looked into the outside world and they found out a lot of companies have already good experience in building such a platform, and they wanted to embed that experience which somebody already have in their life, right? Why people read books? Why so many people will tell you to read books, right? So you can live your life for 70 year, 80 year, 100 year, 200 year, whatever. Yes, but if you start reading books, you can read people's experience. People who lived 70 year, 80 year, 100 year, they have written their experiences of life in the book, in their books, right? If you read their book, their 70 year or 60 year of life learning is part of that book. By reading that book, you quickly got that knowledge what they have experienced. Yes, that is why people say read books. Similarly, SAP didn't wanted to reinvent the wheel, and they wanted to really build a platform which is very similar to the best practices in the industry, in the cloud industry. So they went to a company. That company name is called Cloud Foundry. Cloud Foundry is a company which is set up by the very known. This is the same company which got Spring. If you heard about Spring framework, this is the same company which runs VMware. Yeah, so it's called Pivotal. Pivotal is the name of the company which has a product called Cloud Foundry. Cloud Foundry is a specification to implement platform as a service. So tomorrow, if I want to launch my own platform for people to come and develop on my platform their applications, I can also do that. And for that, I can take best practices from Pivotal. I can go to Pivotal. Pivotal has a product called Cloud Foundry, which is a platform as a service. If I go to Pivotal and tell them, hey, can you tell me what are the best practices, they will tell me that. They have that knowledge. So I can quickly implement my own platform using Pivotal's Cloud Foundry, which is also a open source. So if you go to internet and search for Pivotal Cloud Foundry, you will find here Cloud Foundry open source cloud native application. So you see this icon. Yeah. So SAP went to Pivotal. Pivotal was established by three top companies. Yes, lit, and they are the ones who are running the world's best projects like Spring. You might have heard about, that's a Pivotal. VMware, if you guys have heard of VMware is also the company name. VMware collaborated to build the Cloud Foundry. So they have together built the Cloud Foundry. So it's a open standard to implement platform. So SAP went to Pivotal and say we wanted to take your learnings, because we are also planning to offer a platform for our customers to build their apps. So they went to Pivotal and they got that's why it's also called SAP Cloud Foundry sometimes, or SAP BTP, SAP Cloud Platform. These are same terms. So SAP Cloud Foundry or SAP BTP is also a platform as a service for you to build application. This is the second place where now you can deploy your applications. So these are your apps. Yes, and these apps are then accessible through the internet directly. Now you say, is there any connection between this on-premise and this BTP also? Is there any way we can connect the apps? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. That is also part of our course. We're going to learn in chapter number 37 how can we access a on-premise app from the Cloud Foundry directly. Yeah. Basically, if you just want to give access over the internet of a existing S/4HANA application, you can do that. We will cover that. This is also called Fiori on Cloud. So the second part which you see here is called Fiori on Cloud, where you wanted to now make your application available, make it available on the internet. That's Fiori on Cloud. This is little bit more technical for those who come from basis or security background, but it's good learning which you can grab in my current training also. Yeah, everybody clear? The two ways you can ship your application to the end users. One is directly putting it in S4HANA, and the second is you can put it on BTP. BTP is SAP Business Technology Platform. It's a new name of SAP Cloud Platform. Is a platform as a service where you can put in your apps. Now, let's talk about server access. How do we get this server access? And how do we get this server access? Yeah, so of course this is a hands-on training. You need to learn these concepts, and to learn these concepts you need server access so that you can practice the concepts which I'll teach you in this training. So let's talk about different server access. How do we get it? Okay, so first is the Fiori server access, S4 HANA server access, where you wanted to, what are the tasks we want to learn implementation of standard Fiori apps, working with the standard Fiori apps, how to explore them, how to find them, how to make them activated, how to make them available to our user. Yes, that is what we want to learn. So this is where you can take server access from Anubhav trainings, offer a server access for Fiori security training. Here we have two options. Option one is S4 HANA on-premise system, which is 2020. Okay, this is the latest S4 HANA system. The costing of this is the 2500 INR or 40 USD, whichever currency you are going to pay. So that is the cost of this server. This is first server we have. Now the restriction in this server is you will be able to practice this whole course, but just the user creation, new user creation, if you want to do, won't be allowed. So there is one or two units out of this entire course which I will do, where I will create a fresh user, brand new user from scratch, because it's a security training. So I will teach you creating a new user, and then in that user I will grant permissions so that you will see how step by step that user evolve, how that user is elevated to access Fiori apps. This topic you can't practice in this server. Basically you will not allowed to have access SU01 T code. Okay, that is the limitation of this particular server. You won't be able to practice. Other than that, all topics, all latest topics for Fiori security, admin, task list, or like Fiori security, launchpad designer, theme designer, new concept of spaces, pages, Fiorian cloud, connectivity, everything will work in this server beautifully. So this is one limitation. We can't allow you to create new users. Yeah. But if you want to practice creation of new user, then in that case, I have option two. So the first plan, we call it as platinum plan. What do we call it? Platinum plan. The second plan is called S4 HANA. It's a lower version. It's again OP, but this is a 1909 version. The cost of this one is cheaper, 1500 INR, 30 USD, and it's called Glow Gold plan. In the gold plan, you will be allowed to create users also. Okay, but hold on, this also has limitation. In this plan, you won't be able to practice concepts of spaces and pages, which are new concepts in S4 HANA 2020. Yeah, they are, because this is a lower version of S4 HANA. So you won't be able to practice, and there are some new features which you won't be able to practice in this server, like we have a new launchpad, page designer, and then you have space composer, page composer and space designer. Those things you won't be able to learn, sorry, hands on in the learning wise, everything you will be able to learn, but practice wise you won't be able to practice. You can also do one thing. First you can take one plan for first month, and second month you can take second plan. That way you can manage. I will be using both server because there are some topics which I have to show here, some there. One more limitation of the first one, in this is a embedded server. So if your company is perhaps already on a central hub scenario, then since this is an embedded server, you won't be able to practice connection, aliases, and all. So that is the one. But this one which you see, the second one, this is a central hub system where you have separate backend and separate front end. What does this mean? This I will cover up in our next session, where I'll talk about different deployment options of S4 HANA server that we will discuss. So that time it will be more clear for you what is central hub, what is embedded scenario. I would request everyone to please make your decision wisely, because once you opt for the user from Anubhav trainings, there is no rollback. So let's say I went ahead and I took option one. I paid for option one. I got a user. And then next day I come, no, 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 I did mistake. You refund the money and you move me to the option two. There is no way back. So be very, very careful. I told you clearly the limitation of both the options. Yeah, what you will be able to, what you'll not be able to. So take your decision wisely. For sure, if you take both server together, you will be able to practice 100% topics. Yeah, or you can wait until I reach to a server, and I'll also tell you which option I'm using the server on a class itself. Yeah, I'll tell you which class I'm using, which option, so that you can understand. My goal is to cover topics which belongs to both types. It's important for me as a trainer to give you complete perspective. It's up to you how much is your budget, or you already use your company server, I don't mind. Yes, I already told you what you need to check. You can check which S4 HANA version your company is into. So accordingly you make a decision. Please wait. I would say still, if you're confused, please wait until I reach to some units. We'll start some practical stuff. We start working with system. That is the time you take decision at the later point of time. But once you make your decision, what you can do is email on server@anubhavtrainings.com to get your users for practice. Let me put the note also here. There is no change allowed once the user is issued. So never getting into the problem of changing your mind later on. If you are too much confused, just stay patient. Don't take any decision today. As we progress further, watch 4 or 5 or 6 classes. Once you're comfortable, you take the decision. Because I don't know in your company what type of environment and version you are working. So it is important you take the decision once I explain architecture, and then see which one is the architecture very close to your company system architecture. Yeah, and then accordingly make the right decision for yourself. These are the two plans which covers 100% of this training. Some of you are okay to take both of the options together, no problem. Then you can practice anyway, any one of them. Yeah, so eventually you will, the idea is to learn things from both the servers, because there are two different types of deployments, so that we can learn everything. Now that is about S4 HANA. We discuss S4 HANA, but what about the BTP? Can I get BTP server? The BTP is free. Yes, exactly. So SAP BTP is free, my friends. You can get it today itself. It's absolutely free, and that's where it will also heavily use it in the second half of this course once I teach you Fiori on cloud. However, we still would need BTP to just understand the basics. So BTP is free in trial mode for 365 days. You can register for free 365 days. 1 year you can use it for free. How do you register for BTP? Today itself you can register. It's free. You have to register first on account.sap.com, or just have to go to sap.com, and then you can register on sap.com. First of all, you get this link and you get this user button, log on. Click on that, and then you will be able to fill the form which you just saw. Actually it logged in automatically because of my cookies. Yeah, but once you click on that user button, you will be getting a form. Fill the form, register yourself on SAP website, and then you go to account.hanatrial.ondemand.com. This is the website where you can go and access free SAP BTP account. Because remember, this course we will also do in the second half a lot of development stuff. So that's when you would need a BTP access as well. So this is about the server access. If you're confused at the moment, don't make your decision fast. Wait until I reach to some more practical topics, and then that is the time you make your choice, make your decision. If I am at your place, personally, I truly believe option one, platinum plan, is good because it is latest version. Eventually every company will go to this version. This is latest. Yeah. So this is the plan. However, it depends. If my company has 1909, I go with option 2, gold plan. Yes. If I don't have too much budget, I will also go with gold plan. Yes. If I am fine and my company is also on latest version of S4, I'll go with plan 1. It's okay if I won't be able to practice one or two topics for now. It's okay. I will be able to refer the Anubhav's video, and later on once my company system is there, I can also do these practice in my company system. So that way, or in fact you can use your company system also from day one. You don't need to take any server from us. It is good if you use your company system only for practicing the training which I give you. Use your company system. That's the best option. Yeah, that way you don't have to even worry about any option of server. But those who don't have server, those who perhaps at the moment don't have arrangement on S4 server, you can contact us and we can give you. But please mention your plan properly, which plan you wanted to take. Please mention your plan properly before you purchase, before you describe, before you subscribe for the system. Okay, so that is the server access. So let's quickly review what we saw today. We discussed about SAP S4HANA more in details. We saw S4HANA is simplified suite. It has simplified data model. It has simplified UI. It has also the latest implementation based on best practices. We have it's available in cloud and on-premise flavor, which we also discussed in last class. Then we talked about Fiori app reference library, which is the home of all the Fiori and non-Fiori apps of SAP system. Let me show you non-Fiori also. So if I go back to Fiori app reference library, here it is. I can go back to non-Fiori also. So you can see all apps. When you go, you can find also non-Fiori. Yeah. So if I go inside, total apps till today which SAP solutions have is 13,000 apps. Yeah. You can filter here the app type. So remember yesterday I talked about web GUI. So if somebody wants to see how many web GUI apps are there, so you can search here by technology. I think UI technology. Let me see. Component, scope item, app launcher, technical, what's new industry role. Yeah, here at UI technology. Yeah. So we saw UI technology, right? SAP UI 5, Fiori, these are all different Fiori subtypes. Then we have the GUI. See SAP GUI. I select it. I say okay. So you see out of 13,000, 8,000, this is highest chunk, are still web GUI. or HTML GUI apps. You see, wow, that's amazing. That's really a quite large number. So still S4 HANA, though it's a simplification, we have large number of GUI apps which have been delivered as part of visual harmonization project. They are visually harmonized. In fact, your sales order, when you see, I guess you'll find your VA01, the sales order manage. Yes, over here. Yes, here it is. Sales order, create sales order. Click on this. So this is part of S4 HANA, and you see application type is SAP GUI. Yes, only on HANA DB. It runs on desktop and tablet, but not for mobile. This is the app ID. Yes, you can come down, see the screenshot of the app, how it looks like. Now, people may not even recognize that this is not Fiori. They may it exactly look and feel like Fiori. Yeah, that is the visual harmonization which has been done by SAP. So that is how it looks like a Fiori app only. So you see these tabs, how we look at icon tab filter in Fiori. Then you see the bottom toolbar, how Fiori toolbar looks like. You have a frame. Yeah, it looks very similar to a Fiori application, but it's eventually actually a SAP GUI app, which is visually harmonized to Fiori. And you see versions, it is available, different versions of S4 HANA. So it's available since first version of S4 HANA. Okay. Then we talked about SAP BTP. What is SAP BTP all about? We saw the deployment options. You can deploy your custom apps which you build on your company system, your on-premise system, if it's internal use case, or you can put it on BTP. BTP is nothing but Business Technology Platform, the new name of SAP Cloud Platform. It's a platform as a service given to companies, to the developers like you and me. We are developers. We want to develop new apps. We can develop them on BTP. Now, SAP have taken the best practice from Cloud Foundry. Cloud Foundry is the open source which has provided the guideline to implement platform. So that is what BTP does. It inherits from it, and then you have the apps on top of it which we develop. This is called Fiori on Cloud. We're going to discuss this on our next phase of this training. A lot of learnings will be there related to development technical topics on this. Our first phase will not talk about much on BTP. Then we have server access details. There are two options you guys have for S4 HANA server. Option 1, which is 2020 latest version, platinum plan. Option 2 is the 1909, which is lower release, but you get more features in terms of user creation is allowed. SU01 access we can give you. It's a central hub system. I'll discuss central hub versus embedded in next class. You'll be more clear, and then you'll be more confident in taking your right plan to choose. The email ID server at Anubo Trainings to get the server access, get the payment done. You can take server access, it's per month per user. The plan cost is per month per user. Yeah. So you have to pay every month. It's better you use your company server. Yeah, that is my recommendation to all of you. Don't use our server, use your company server. That's best fit for you, because that's where you will have full control. Yeah. Then coming to BTP, BTP is free. You can take a free trial on SAP BTP for 365 days. It's absolutely free to learn Fury on Cloud. Now I'm done with today's session. Time for your questions. If anyone has, feel free to ask. Okay, no questions. So let's meet tomorrow at the same
Hi,
time. Yes, please.
hi,
Yeah,
Anbu.
I have wanted to know more about SAP Cloud Foundry. Is it the BTP platform is entirely on top of SAP Cloud Foundry, or how is it different to just understand right now what is SAP Cloud Foundry, as this term is also hugely heard in the market?
Okay, so Cloud Foundry is basically specification to implement platform as a service. Okay, now let me take an example. If let's say you want to launch a new company which will make cars, so you decided, you went to your parents, you said, Mama, I want to open a company which manufacture car. Yeah. So they will, first question they will ask you is, do you have some idea how the cars are made? Right. So you will say probably not. But then what you will do is you will go and you will at least see some car models first of all. So you will go and you will actually search for some companies who are making cars already, like Tesla, Tata Motors, Maruti. You'll go and first check how the cars are being built. You will see what is the best practice to build a car. What are two do's, what are not two do's, right? Don'ts and do's and don'ts. So you would need some prior experience to start building a car manufacturing hub. Similarly, you want to become a doctor, you need to work and practice in medical colleges. You want to become an engineer, you will go and learn for engineering first, right? Similarly, SAP wanted to venture into platform as a service. So they looked at the market, who's the market leader, who is going to be the market leader, or who is exactly implementing already platform as a service in very effective way. Yeah, so they went into the market, they did some research, they found a lot of companies. Out of this they choose Pivotal. So Pivotal is a company which is already offering their platform as a service named as Cloud Foundry. So what they did is they took all the learnings from Pivotal and then they implement SAP BTP. So SAP BTP has all the features from Cloud Foundry plus SAP own services. Like Cloud Foundry has Java runtime. It can support Java apps. SAP BTP also support Java apps. Cloud Foundry supports Node.js runtime. SAP BTP also supports Node.js runtime. But Cloud Foundry doesn't have anything to Fiori. Fiori support is not there. But what SAP did, they added Fiori support to this. So it's not entirely Cloud Foundry. They've taken the best of best from Cloud Foundry. On top, they added their own services, own stuff. Like Cloud Foundry have a database called PostgreSQL. SAP also has, since they've taken the image of platform as a service from Cloud Foundry, they also have PostgreSQL. But SAP also added HANA database in BTP, which Cloud Foundry doesn't have. So it's basically add-on top of Cloud Foundry. They have added extra bit of services from SAP side. Everybody clear now? Of course, once you get and use this, you will be more clear. But as an initial start, this is enough to understand what is BTP. Yeah. Okay. Next question. Do we also get to know how to ECC apps migrate to S4H? I mean, how to create tiles for WebDynPro and SAP GUI? Yes, we will learn that. So if your company already has a Z transaction, you can publish that as a web GUI directly. You don't even need to build a Fiori app. If your business is fine to move it in the browser, just in the browser or Launchpad, you will learn in this course how to make the classical applications available on the Fiori Launchpad, which are coming from your old world. Okay, so that is what you'll see. Can we implement apps if my company use 1709 and apps which was released on 1809? Of course not, because a app is not just an app. A app also have a lot of background services which it uses. Yes, so you can't implement simply a app, take away from latest release and put it on old release. It will not work. You will see that reason also a little later, Rohan, once we get into more details. So don't worry, I'll try to keep it simple. I'll not get into too much technical stuff because I know some of you come from security background, you have zero programming knowledge, and you don't wanted to get into too much technical stuff. You just wanted to get an overview and do your job better as a security consultant. That is what our focus will be. But unfortunately or fortunately, there is some part of it which is technical, which I have to cover it, and it is mandatory for you even to understand, without which you will not get the complete picture. So with that, thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.